Welcome in, everyone. I hope you guys are doing great wherever you're watching from today. As always, for those of you who are just catching back up, I am back in the studio after the horrific flood. Lost me my home. Took a few months. We rebuilt. We're back stronger than ever. Feels good to be home. I appreciate everyone who reached out. It's great to see. I really appreciate the support. Dusty the dog is not here right now. He did not want to be in a video today. I guess he was enjoying his time resting. But we do have a very important topic to talk about, and that is moves Iran is taking right now as it prepares for what it believes is an imminent strike by Israel. It is taking moves that indicate it is in a war posture stance. What this means and whether or not there will be a war in the Middle East. We're going to break all that down and much more. Please make sure, as always, to like and subscribe. Comment with your thoughts below on how you want to see the problems between Israel and Iran get resolved, how you want to see President Trump handle them. Make sure to hit that bell so you always know when a new video is coming. Now, let's get into it. As viewers of the channel know, there are rising tensions in the Middle East over negotiations with Iran's pursuit to get a nuke, enrich uranium to weapons grade level, and how we're all going to handle the situation. As we've spoken about at length, President Donald Trump, he prefers a diplomatic, peaceful solution to the Iranian problem. Let's call it the Iranian problem, the Iranian question, whatever you want to call it. They want to enrich uranium. There is a huge debate between the Israelis, the United States, the Saudis, how we want to see that handled. While President Trump prefers to see a diplomatic solution, the Israelis have been clear that the only solution that they see is viable and acceptable is to attack Iran. They want to go in militarily, but of course, as we all know, they actually lack the ability to take out Iran's program due to the fact the biggest facilities, the most important facilities, are deep underground under mountains, and Israel does not have the weapons or the aircraft to take those facilities out. Of course, the United States does with the B-2 and the GBU-57 bunker-busting bomb. There have been a lot of moves that have been made, a lot of chess moves that have been made from everyone involved, and one of the issues that Trump is facing at the moment is the Israelis seem interested in potentially undercutting the peace process by launching an independent strike. As we know, any strike on Iran, whether it's carried out by the United States or it's carried out by Israel, will immediately end any diplomatic solution that could have been possible, and then we will be on the escalation ladder. And as we all know and we discuss a lot, once you're on the escalation ladder, you have no idea how you're going to get off. Well, it turns out Iran is making moves that would indicate it does believe it is going to be attacked by Israel. It is moving gear. This is a great piece of reporting from the Financial Times. Let me throw part one. It's a lengthy report. I pulled 3 parts. Let me throw part one up on the screen right now. It says Western intelligence assessments and satellite imagery reviewed by defense analysts suggest that Iran has since repositioned several surface-to-air missile launchers, including the S-300 system, which is, of course, Russian-made, highly advanced air defense system, near key nuclear sites such as Natanz and Fordo. Some kit has also been shown in public in recent months with a parade of weaponry, including an S-300 launcher and a radar truck displayed in Tehran at Army Day celebrations last month. An S-300 unit was also shown launching surface-to-air missile during military exercises in February using a new Iranian-designed radar, possibly because of its original radar was inoperable, according to Nicole Grajensky of the Carnegie Endowment in Washington. Iran definitely wants to negate the narrative that its advanced air defenses are destroyed. Now, what's important to remember here is that Israel did launch attacks inside Iran on 2 different occasions, and there was reporting that some of the air defense systems in Iran have been completely wiped out. There's this narrative that's been put out there that Iran's skies are completely undefended. I have said time and time again, that is simply not true. There were some air defense systems that were destroyed, but not all of them. And we need to be clear with the facts here. Let's go to part 2 right here, which plays off of what I just said. Part 2, we'll throw it up on the screen. Israel, which has already shown it can hit Iranian air defenses, has been pushing the U.S. to support strikes against Iran. Experts have said there is a risk that Israel would attack without Washington's consent if it felt Trump agreed to a weak deal. During its strikes last year, this is what I was talking about, Israel targeted radar and missile sites with ballistic missiles launched from well outside the S-300's maximum range of 200 kilometers. Boosters for these missiles made by Israel's Rafael Corporation were found in the Iraqi desert, hundreds of kilometers away. The effectiveness of these attacks is still hotly debated. Open source satellite images show a few direct hits, such as on an S-300 radar truck at an airbase near Isfahan after the April 2024 strike. but imagery after the October strike showed many S-300 sites empty, making it unclear whether the missiles had been destroyed or simply moved. There is not much hard evidence, said Sam Lair, a research associate at the James Martin Center for Non-Proliferation Studies. So now let's get into what a potential Israeli attack alone would look like if they decide to undercut Trump, they ignore the peace process, they decide that they're going to go against Trump's plan, they're going to act alone. What would that look like? I'll throw this up on the screen right here. If it acted alone, Israel, which lacks heavy bombers or a way to deliver such large ordnance, would have limited options. Wow, who said that before? I feel like I'm the only one on the internet that's been making this point over and over, and now it's finally getting some better reporting. They would likely use F-35 stealth fighters armed with 200-pound BLU-109 precision bombs or F-15 fighter bombers carrying 400 GBU-28 bombs, either of which would require multiple hits on the same crater to punch through hardened shelters, RUSI said. This might require many sorties, possibly using mid-air refueling tankers that themselves might be vulnerable to long-range surface-to-air missiles or drones. Since last summer, Israel has struck targets in Yemen at least 9 times at distance similar to a strike on Iran. Now, what's important here on that reporting is, while the F-35 is stealthy, the more you arm it, the less stealthy it becomes. But the F-15, carrying 4,000-pound bombs, is not stealthy at all. Even shitty air defense systems are going to be able to pick up the radar signature of an F-15 armed with multiple 4,000-pound bombs. Just the way it works. So the question now is, what happens next? Where do we go from here? Is there going to be a strike? Let's get into all of that right now. What people need to understand about this situation is that we are in a very dangerous slide right now. That's probably the best way to put it. We have multiple moving pieces, and it doesn't really seem like the United States and our allies might be on the exact same page. We've discussed this at length. The problem is, and it's a very short, simple answer, once the first bombs get dropped, there's absolutely no way at all to control what happens next. Everyone wants you to believe, or some idiots out there, I should say, want you to believe that the United States or Israel can launch an attack and there'll be zero retaliation of any kind. To take out Iran's underground facilities, you'd be looking at the largest military operation and bombing campaign since the invasion of Iraq in 2003. Iran's greatest deterrent isn't the fact that it might get a nuke, it's its missile and rocket force, which you will never be able to get all of. That's just a fact. They will use those missiles and rockets to then retaliate across the region at Saudi oil fields, U.S. base locations, things of that nature. The United States and Saudi Arabia will then be required to fire back. We know this, and then once we're now riding high on the escalation ladder, where's the off-ramp? Where does it end? How does it end? Does anyone know how it ends? The answer to those questions is we don't have them. And anyone who claims they know for sure, again, is an absolute moron. Here's the bigger issue. We cannot allow Israel to do this alone. If a strike is going to happen, it needs to be on the United States' terms. We're the ones writing the checks. It's our party. It's our show. And right now, the President of the United States has made the strategic decision. He favors a peace deal with Iran over a war with Iran. Makes a lot of sense. We've had a lot of war in the Middle East. It hasn't been particularly great when you look back at the long-term consequences of it. We also know this. If Israel goes in alone, there's a good chance the United States will then have to come in and defend them like we did in the previous attacks by Iran, one of which was pretty telegraphed, and we shot down their drones, their missiles, all that stuff. The United States has the technology to do that, and we would come in and have to save the day. The Israelis know this. It also seems like Netanyahu does not want a deal to happen at all, and he might be willing to play the card of we'll strike Iran, we know we won't be able to take out their facilities, and then we'll hope the United States comes in and saves us, and thus the peace deal's tanked, we get backed by the United States military does all the heavy lifting of the defense. Can't let that happen. Cannot let that happen. This is why you've seen reporting that Trump got into a really angry phone call with Netanyahu about what he's been doing. The United States, we're the boss. I hate to break it to everyone who's living in fantasy land. We're the boss. And when the boss says we're going to do something this way, that's the way it's going to get done. If you want our military support and you want our money and you want the umbrella of American security, then when we've made a strategic decision to pursue a peace deal, that's the way it's going to go. And if that's a problem, then don't accept everything we give you. It's crazy that we're even having this discussion, in my opinion. We cannot allow another country to undercut a potential peace plan. Now, if the United States makes the decision, the peace plan hasn't worked, we're going to go in and bomb these guys ourselves, so be it. But that'll be the United States leading from the front. And as Trump said, he doesn't feel he's going to get dragged into anything. He will be the leader if it does go with the military option. But this is a very dangerous situation. It is a very dangerous situation. Iran is scrambling their missiles, scrambling their air defense systems. They feel an Israeli strike is imminent. Israel has been planning a strike, although has not conducted it yet, all while the United States is attempting to pursue peace. It is a very, very dangerous situation, and we need to have eyes wide open. We need a clear head going into it. We need to understand the risks, the upsides, the downsides, and then we can all make a decision. What we can't do is allow this thing to just spiral out of control. And an Israeli strike not backed by the U.S. that won't really accomplish much because, again, they don't have the tools, and we will never give them the tools to take out the underground facilities. I don't really know what to tell you past that. It's a scary, scary, scary time we're in. I think that the United States can get a peace deal done. And if this goes sideways because of an Israeli independent strike, we're going to be living in a totally different world. And then President Trump's going to have to figure out how to deal with that. But I want to know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments how you want to see this. Do you want to see a military option? Do you want to see a peace deal? How should Trump handle Iran? How should Trump handle Israel? How should he handle the region as a whole? Peace or war? Let me know in the comments. Make sure to like and subscribe. Hit that bell so you never miss a video. And as always, I'll see you all next time.